Lately, have you noticed how everything just feels overwhelming? Not in a dramatic way, not like something is completely falling apart, but just this constant feeling that life is getting harder to keep up with. And it's not just you. A lot of people are feeling this right now. You look at the job market, you look at the cost of living, you look at how much things have changed in just a few years, and it feels like everything is moving faster, while somehow getting harder at the same time. There was a time where one job felt like enough. You work, you earn, you live your life. Simple. But now, it doesn't feel that simple anymore. Now it feels like one job barely covers the basics, and even that comes with pressure. Pressure to perform, pressure to keep up, pressure to not fall behind. Because the moment you slow down, it feels like everything starts catching up to you. Bills, responsibilities, expectations, all of it. And on top of that, you're constantly seeing what everyone else is doing. People making money online, people building businesses, people traveling, people figuring it out. And even if you know it's not the full picture, it still gets to you. Because now it's not just about surviving. It feels like you have to be doing more. More income, more skills, more progress, all at the same time. And that's where the overwhelm really starts. Because it's not just one problem, it's everything, all at once. You're trying to stay stable financially, while also thinking about your future, while also trying to improve yourself, while also just trying to have some peace of mind. And that balance feels harder than ever. The job market alone is a whole different conversation. You apply to jobs, you send out resumes, you try to stand out, and sometimes you don't even hear back. Or you do, and it's not what you expected. Low pay, high expectations, or experience requirements that don't even make sense. And it makes you question things like, what am I actually working towards? Because the traditional path doesn't feel as secure as it used to. And that uncertainty is exhausting. It's mentally draining to feel like you're doing everything right, but still feeling like it's not enough. And I think that's the part people don't talk about enough. It's not just about the money, it's the mental weight of constantly trying to keep up, trying to stay afloat without feeling like you're falling behind. And when you're in that state, it's easy to feel stuck. Like no matter what you do, you're just maintaining, not progressing. But here's the thing, even though the world feels overwhelming, that doesn't mean you're powerless. It just means you have to approach things differently. Because the old way of thinking isn't enough anymore. Relying on one path, one income, one plan feels risky now. And that's why you see so many people trying new things. Side hustles, content creation, learning new skills, not because it's easy, but because they're trying to create options. And that's really what it comes down to. Options. Because when you only have one path, every problem hits harder. But when you start building, even small alternatives, you give yourself breathing room. And it doesn't have to be something huge. You don't need to suddenly make thousands online or completely change your life overnight. It can start small. Learn something new, trying something different, exploring an idea you've been putting off. Because even that is a step away from being stuck. And more importantly, it gives you a sense of control. Because right now, a lot of the overwhelm comes from feeling like things are out of your hands. But the moment you start doing something, anything, you take a bit of that control back. And that matters more than you think. Because you don't need to solve everything at once. You just need to stop feeling stuck. And that starts with small actions, small improvements, small shifts in how you approach things. Because yeah, the world is overwhelming right now. The job market is tough. Living on one income is harder than it used to be. All of that is real. But so is your ability to adapt. And that's what's going to matter moving forward. Not having everything figured out, but being willing to adjust, to learn, to try new things, even when it's uncomfortable. Because at the end of the day, you don't need to have all the answers. You just need to keep moving forward, one step at a time, even in a world that feels like it's moving too fast. And another thing that makes all of this feel even heavier is a constant comparison, because whether you realize it or not, you're always seeing what other people are doing on your phone, on social media, on YouTube, everywhere. And it creates this illusion that everyone else is moving faster than you. You see people your age making money online, building businesses, traveling, living a completely different life. And even if you know that you're only seeing the highlights, it still affects how you feel. Because that was not just about surviving, it feels like you're falling behind. And that pressure builds up quietly over time. You start questioning your own progress. You start wondering if you're doing enough, if you're moving fast enough, if you're making the right choices. And that mental pressure, on top of everything else, makes it even harder to move forward. Because now you're not just dealing with real world problems, you're dealing with the perception that everyone else has it figured out. But the truth is, most people don't. They're just figuring it out as they go, just like you. And once you really understand that, you stop putting so much pressure on yourself to be at a certain point by a certain time. Because everyone's situation is different. Everyone's timeline is different. Everyone's starting point is different. And comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel is always going to make things feel worse than they actually are. So instead of constantly looking outward, you have to start focusing inward on what you can control, on what you can improve, on what you can build over time. Because that's where real progress comes from, not from trying to keep up with everyone else, but from consistently improving your own situation. And that doesn't mean ignoring reality. The world is still competitive. Things are still expensive. The job market is still tough. But stressing over everything at once doesn't move you forward. Focusing on what's in front of you, that's what actually helps. Even if it's small. Even if it feels like it's not enough. Because small progress is still progress. And over time, that's what creates real change. And honestly, this is something I've been thinking about myself lately. Personally, I've started looking at more ways of doing things outside of just work. Because at some point, I realized I didn't want my entire life to just be work and then repeat. I wanted something more than that. Not something crazy, not some overnight success, just something that felt like it was mine. And that's actually why I created this channel. Not just to upload videos, but to hold myself accountable, to make sure I keep going, to make sure I'm building something, even if it's small. And honestly, it gives me something to look forward to, something to do after work, something that isn't just routine. And for me, mixing gameplay with these conversations is actually perfect, because at the same time I'm playing something I enjoy, I'm also thinking, reflecting, learning something about life. And it doesn't feel forced, it feels natural. I get to play games, I get to edit, I get to improve at something new, and at the same time, I'm pushing myself forward, even if it's just a little bit at a time. And I'm not going to act like I have everything figured out. I've only just started. But that's the point. I actually started. And right now, that's enough for me. Because I know if I keep going, if I stay consistent, if I keep learning as I go, something will come from this. Maybe it turns into something big. Maybe it doesn't. But either way, I'm building something. And that alone already feels different. So yeah, I don't know exactly what's on the horizon for me yet, but I'm actually excited to find out. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna keep making these videos. I'm gonna talk about something random, something out of the ordinary, something that people don't usually talk about. But what's important is that I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna hold myself accountable. I'm gonna make these videos. I'm gonna play those games. I'm gonna learn how to edit better. I'm gonna learn how to do some transitions. It's always about that. It's always learning something new. It's always improving on what you've already done. It's always taking that next step and making it easier, making it simpler for yourself. Because the more you learn, the more things simpler get for you. That was our conversation topic for today. Stay tuned for more. If you enjoyed, like the video and subscribe. We will chat again soon. Peace.